Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpack some action words related to horses, like how people use horses. And today we're talking about harnessing. We're obviously harnessing horses' horsepower to transport, to fight wars with us. And jia is a Chinese way to express how we establish that connection between the driver or the horse rider um, to communicate with horses through harness. Okay, so Chinese way to express harness is by having horse. Of course, that's the main thing, or horsepower we want to harness. And then plus the concept of plus, actually. This concept of plus, if you see simplified and traditional, they are the same. And this in English would be add, the mathematical concept of add minus. This is the add. Okay, we have power or strength icon on the left, which came from the rake or plow in ancient times, a major farming tool that symbolized muscle power. The right side is the mouth symbol. So we have both the verbal power and the muscle power combined together as a multiplier of, well, even if it's additive, it actually means you are forcibly, like muscularly, adding to your verbal output. So Chinese have 添油加醋. It's a Chinese way to say you add oil. Well, English we have add oil to the fire. Right? Chinese have similar. We add oil, 加醋. 添 means add again, so it's kind of water, add more water kind of add. But then 加 is this add more words kind of add. Because the mouth symbol, this box thing, is the mouth symbol that symbolizes verbalization. You add words or you make your words more powerful, like muscle power, right? You muscle up your verbal expression, and that's the add with vinegar. So we add oil and then add vinegar, means we exaggerating the details. Whatever you want to express, you overstate something. So that's Chinese understanding of how you can verbally adding. So Chinese express adding this concept, not mathematically, but actually starting from verbal expression. We're talking about we're adding additional, like overstating something, and that's the origin of 加. So when we add the add concept onto the horse, that means we are adding something that's human made onto this nature's gift to us. I mean, somebody can attain that, it become part of the human civilization builder. And that action of adding something, then the later day, even if you may not see, may not know what this 家, if you're first time seeing this character in simplified traditional or 2000 years ago dictionary, you may not know the concept. But by knowing separately, this is the horse, right? Four legs, tail, mane, that's a horse. And then you have the rake sign and next to the mouth symbol. All three parts of it, you can parcel out. And then you can piece back together to make a composite concept. That means you're actually adding something to amplify the horsepower. That is, by adding the harness, you can harness the horsepower. Okay, that's 驾. 驾 is basically to control the horse by communicating with the horse through the harness. I mean, I probably in my life only ride horse once, and it was scary, right? And it was quite, a lot of ups and downs. So it's not that comfortable if you're a new rider. And the communication with the horse would be pulling the harness, the left, right turn, right? At least that's how you communicate with the horse. And so harness is the communication line to from one species, humans, to another species, horse. 大驾光临 is Chinese way to Chinese exaggerated way to almost like an over compliment, almost like obviously ass kissing, but the receiving of the receiver of the magic message would appreciate your over complimenting them, and by exaggerating, say 大驾. So 大驾 means big harness, right? Big harness, just by the word of it. We can see if it's a bigger harness, that means it's a bigger horse or more horse, multiple horse. And if you have a big harness, that implies that a higher social status, you can afford bigger horse or more horse. And 光临, when you arrive, you're not just arrive, how you arrive, you're gloriously arrive as if your aura fill out or brightly shine, fill the space in between us as if you're a sun, the sun, right? So Chinese like to use 光, this light, this sun behavior onto humans that they want to compliment. So it's comparable to Gen Z's aura expression. So Chinese pay attention to the vibe of your guests and they like to over compliment, make you feel like you're like put on a pedestal. You were so glorious just by the use of the language already set you up like you are so welcome. They are such an honorable, distinguished guest. So that's a Chinese way to compliment your guests, right? But Chinese use 光临, like a gloriously, brightly arrive. You light up my place. That's a common expression. Okay, 三驾马车. Now, instead of a big harness, we're talking exactly three harness. Three harness, horse carriage. I checked with ChatGPT, and according to the bot, it says that throughout the different cultures, the three harness carriage setup was very common because it helps reduce the shaking. The bumpiness come from individual horse, but because if you attach your carriage onto one horse, you are shaking, going up and down together with one horse's movement. But you have three, each of them doing this, and you're going to kind of even out, right? And also three horses, more horsepower, and three horses, you can direct them in different directions, control them. Kind of a more maneuverability because you have three. You have more buttons or harness to pull. So that's 三驾马车 origin. But then Chinese used this 三驾马车, three horse harnessed horse carriage to mean the three drivers of economy. Export, investment, consumption. So that's some economist came up with this term and then continue carry on. I don't know, probably over a decade now. So whenever now you say 三驾马车, all Chinese who are exposed to media would know what you're talking about. Economics, three drivers. Nobody is thinking literally about three harness horse carriage anymore because that doesn't exist. Or I shouldn't say in absolute term. You can hardly come across any horse-driven carriage anymore. So not to mention exactly three harness horse carriage. It's just phased out of history, not part of life. But this expression take on new meaning because this particular economist use it and everybody understand it easily. 安全驾驶. So now we're not talking about harnessing your horse anymore. Again, nobody ride horses that much unless it's recreational. I don't think cowboys probably still up and alive in America culture, like in ranches, right? We still have lots of horse people here, but for the majority city dwellers, horse riding was not a thing, unless it's recreational. 安全驾驶 is a Chinese way to say drive safely. And so here we're talking about you're not harness and control your car, your horse, but your car. It applies to the new city horse or horsepower we're harnessing in our everyday now. So it's harness, and the 使 means speedy go. So 使 obviously when you drive the horse, you let the horse run, and then that's called 使. Basically a straight line, you can speed up, right? Once they turn a corner, horse or car, you have to slow down, right? So 使 almost like a straight line running, so you can run up your speed. And 驾驶 is harness and run. So that's the sense of driving Chinese use. 驾驶 means driving in Chinese. Before I do this episode, I never thought about it at all. And now I can see how the same character survive on different historical phases, in different technological context. And even if it came from harness from the horse era, in our post-industrial world, we're driving still. And so it's kind of comparable. So the same character survived in new context like that. 安全 is Chinese way to say you're safe, and you have all your pieces intact. So you come back in one piece kind of thing to stay in a complete shape. So that's 安全. So here I'm showing, I saw that as 三驾马车, like a 3-horse driven carriage. I'm not sure, but definitely it's multiple horses over there, right? At least you can see 2 here. And that visually show that I'm glad I can still find something like that online. That means somewhere in the world, this harness of horse-driven transportation, or however, like a horse is still part of the civilization somewhere in the planet, right? So that's 驾. Thank you for your time. See you another day.